as space bridge is opened up as Ironhide and Ursi enter, bringing along Shocker and Soundy. Unbeknownst to them, though, Starscream implanted a tracking chip in the Allspark, or using kinetic forces technology to track down both targets. Of course, though, when they did make it to the mountain, half of the things were already done. They were analyzed, wondering if its removal, but the removal will mean a capitation of an arm, or the person or the host dying in the process of removal. So let them live. So, what you gonna do with us? We can't do much. We must wait and see what happens next, knowing that there's a 50% chance or 80% to 90% chance on you dying. Great, I'm gonna die anyways. Either being hunted down by robots or flipping other things like that. I thought there were gonna be more of it besides the almighty one. Guessing he's the boss, as he points at, Optimus Prime. Easy to tell. From what I can tell, his energon readings are a lot more than yours. I had a small job at a very small job at a energon company, trying to make, Autobots or Decepticons, doesn't matter. Of course, I was more of the person who created the prototype stuff, anyways. Of course, though, eventually they got someone new and replacing me. And from what I can tell, your energon readings are through the roof. More than these two. As he points back at RC and Ironhide. As you know, someone comes, jumping down. As a cliff jumper also appears. And Bulk. Great, there's more of you. Now we're wanted fugitives. So, do I just wait for my pending death, or do I just, stand here while I die? Yeah, calm down, you're not going to die. I'm being hunted by aliens. I mean, I knew you weren't created by the flippin' government. Government's too dumb to create things like this. Even so, from what I can tell, you're not from our planet, nor were you born here. From what I can gather from the news, you had to leave your planet due to a war on, I believe, it was called Cybertron. There wasn't enough resources like Energon to fuel, I guess, things. So you kind of left the planet. And right there. And did a lot of things. Don't ask why I know so much, I just do. Now, let's see what we can do. From what I can tell, my arm is going implanted in my skin and veins. Choice of removals without me dying is probably 30%. Meaning that there's a 70% chance of me dying. And the more this thing grows on me, that number of me surviving will decrease dramatically, at least by 10% again. Same with my brother, Soundy. Either it's removed, killing us in process, or it's gonna kill us anyways. Meaning that we at least have, I'll say, 3 years to 10 months until we die. It's really complicated to tell. As something happens, as the mountain starts to rumble. Yeah. They're being attacked by Starscream and a fleet of Megatron's forces. I'll just stand right here. Go ahead. There's no point on me trying to run away if I'm gonna die anyways. Literally. But a miscalculation on Shocker's point, the Allspark mutates rapidly. Like in Transformers Age of Nights, or Transformers Last Night, I think it was called. Something with a night in it. Where you saw that sword practically come out when, Bumblebee and Optimus were fighting. As the dude practically pulled out the sword, and it happened instantly, whatever. Practically. Deku and, how do you say Deku's knowledge? It's first, the only reason it's not going over, completely, just destroying the skin is because it's still, analyzing to kind of replace, the organic parts of his, body into, mechanical. Or into, the whatever the Transformers are made out of. Practically. As he does have energon in his bloodstream, which is, I guess it's like steroids, but to or rank that up to a 20. So yeah. Of course it's not healthy for humans, so I mean, yeah. What he processed is not the mutation, but the mutation of the energon going through his blood that would kill him. And 3 months or 3 years. So yes. It's not as big as, entire, forearm, but it's, it's forming slowly. Because it's analyzing, analyzing, replacing. To the point where it doesn't hurt Deku. Or, there's still pain, but, it's not as, much. So, yes. Well, isn't that about change anyways? So, yeah. Yeah. What do I mean by this? Nothing. Just saying that he's gonna get a very, good welcome when Megatron meets him. What I mean by that is that they drop a small nuke on the mountain, eventually caving in the mountain, or their base, as they have to get out of there using a time bridge or space bridge. Yeah. As there would be, how would you say, problems. Why? Because due to, the calculations on the Decepticons' part, they knew that a space bridge would have been activated. Precisely Megatron, though. So yeah, I'll say the first one out was Shocker and Soundly. They get backslapped. They get backhanded by Megatron, or more of the lines of Megatron almost ripping out Shocker's arm. Or even better, Soundly's arm. Why? Because my man Megatron about to see why you don't mess with a military-based tech. So yeah. Soundly, no, it's for the throat. So yeah, it's for the throat. So he's about to rip off Soundly's head. Shocker's like, nah, Chief, I got you. As with anger within him, trying to protect his brother, his arm starts to rapidly mutate. The Allspark reacts to emotions, mostly anger. Or, in cases of stress, forming around them, protect them. So, he brings up his hand, shooting Megatron in the face. Yeah, Megatron got a good load of Energon right there. Megatron, Energon, haha. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, he drops Soundly. Shocker, he's like, nah, bro, I'm gone. This is this has nothing to do with me. I'll be leaving with my brother, so yeah. So, he kind of runs to direction. As you know, his arm's hurting, by the way. Like, flipping, just imagine something replacing your body, like, just at an atomic level. Something replacing your body at an atomic level, which is practically impossible. But not for the flipping Allspark, so yeah. It's replacing it, so you still feel, it attached, or, the metal part attached to you, as, it's replacing skin and, like, all the other stuff. So yeah, you can say it hurts a lot. So yeah. And due to, his, emotions in time of stress, it would start to rapidly cover Deku's body. As a fight broke out between the Autobots and Decepticons. As, Ratchet had to teleport Soundly and Shocker away using, a space bridge. Eventually, giving them the amount of nowhere. Leaving them in the amount of nowhere. Where would they be? They will be in the forest. I'll say. Yeah, they'll be in the forest. Not any forest, though. A very specific forest. One of the most biggest, or the biggest, Energon meteor. The forest is, how would you say? It's practically on top. The forest is on top of a meteor of Energon. Meaning that there's practically an entire lifetime of Energon. Or multiple lifetimes of Energon in there. So yeah. So you can say the plants are exotic. Very exotic. And you can practically say the animals in the area are very deadly, you would say. Yeah. Hint, hint, Animal Wars coming soon. Hint, hint. So yeah. So what happens is that there would be a very yes, it helps them, but at the same time it kind of doesn't, because they don't know what's in here. As they kind of teleported to a random area, it was set to random. So they drop on trees. Ah, my back. Ah, come on, I can't get. Oh shit, I'm going down. Heading all the branches down. Yo, Soundly, you good? As he sees Soundly sitting on a tree. Or, sitting, beside a tree. Why am I the one that gets bad luck? My body hurts. Ow. And, him transforming into a practical, Cybertronian isn't flipping helping. So, I mean, yeah. Yeah. So, over time, Deku and... Yeah, practically. I guess they would get new names at this point. Because, I mean, yeah. Shocker and Soundly, practically, they stay there for like a decent while. Meeting, on a lot of animals and whatnot that are made of, practically, Autobots, Decepticons, but more of the, the natural kind. In one of the video games, there were these bug type Cybertron. No, there were experiments. Yeah, they're Shockwave's experiments. But, let's say these bugs are, less advanced than the ones in the video game. So they're like... And also there's not, swarms of flipping them, like just an entire planet of them. So, I mean, yeah. So... They're a lot more... They're like a bit small. They're like the size of at least half of like a normal human. So, yeah. Still pretty big, but I mean, they don't attack you unless you attack them. So, yeah. Lizards, bears, all these other type of, mechanical animals, practically. Deku's, he's out of it. Because, I mean, he got dropped out of a tree, got stabbed by, like, branches. Not just that, but anxiety and, having your arm turn into, mechanical. So, I mean, yeah. He's not in the best mind state, you can say. He's under a lot of stress and a lot of pain right now. Soundly, I mean, he doesn't have it as bad because, I mean, I guess due to, Soundly kind of goes for his brain first due to it hitting his neck. So it goes, his neck to, his brain first. So you kind of, take out, all the pains. So, kind of having Deku and have the pain and, Soundly kind of, that part of the brain that, shows pain or, any harm is kind of, kind of taken out and replaced by mechanical. So, yeah. His brain is being, he kind of brain dead. Not gonna lie, he kind of is. At least for, this week. So Shocker's just tired. At least you're awake. Why? As you know, Deku sees something glowing. Soundly's asleep, so, it's that, like, nighttime. Let's see what this is. Okay, come on, stay conscious, come on. Stay conscious. Okay, what's that brightness? As no, he sees like a neo blue type of light. As no, there's like a little, I'll say this is like the top of the meteorite, or like, the peak of the meteorite. Or, no, I'll say this is the, opening to the meteorite. Kind of, a crater of, Energon. Deku doesn't see where he's going, or, tries to look where he's going, but, he trips, ends up falling. Yeah. Ah, come on, my head. Not again. As you know, it's morning. Half of Deku's arm that you see in the picture is, completely mechanical now. That portion of the arm kind of... He does notice something, though, when he does wake up. Something does attach to, his shoulder. More of the lines of piercing his shoulder, but I mean, it's a wiring where, kind of where
how do you say, like, Shockwave's gun, how, he has that thing connected to his shoulder? Yeah, that right there. Yeah, Deku's screaming, but eventually, the pain goes away. As, yeah, he feeling a lot of pain right now. At least in his arm. But that doesn't stop him from, dragging his brother there to kind of, help him. As you know, these things start popping up in Deku's head. When he touched the Energon, as these images, things start happening, or, popping up in Deku's head. Memories, past, present, ancient times, where primes were at the peak. It was no longer scarce. Meaning that he's getting memories from, like, the beginning of the war. Not just that, but, like, the beginning of time, since, Unicron, I believe his name was, the creator with another one. There's another creator, but I don't remember his name. There's Unicron, and then there's someone else that, created the Allspark. As you know, the Allspark kind of landed on a planet, and, you know what happens from there, so yeah. Yeah. Unicron, his head is kind of floating around. No, because I believe it was destroyed, yeah. The old cartoon, never mind, it was destroyed. As a portion of Unicron is on Earth now. At least a horn is. Yeah. This massive size of Unicron. As what would happen is Deku, he would kind of not have, he would like have a very big headache after that. Like a very big headache after getting all that information. Okay. Like, his brain is fried. Like, the only thing he's able to, do are, basic functions. And, move, think a little. Yeah. Basics. He lays down, this blue fruit falls down into, the crater. A very blue fruit. Deku hungry. He don't care right now. He's very hungry, as he bites into the fruit, as the fruit has, juice, as it kind of, fills Deku's mind, kind of cleared Deku's head almost. Okay, that was better. As he also feeds one too soundly. As in the couple of days, both of them gain full consciousness once more. Oh, what happened? I see you still got that voice problem. Don't worry, that will happen. That would be fixed sooner or later, hopefully. But now I don't know what to do, because my entire arm is like a literal cannon. I can't even move my arm from how heavy it is. I mean, I can, but I have to use my other arm, though, to pick it up. Look how heavy this is, like... That's an entire cannon on my arm. An entire cannon. Look at this huge cannon. It was pretty cool, though, shooting one of those robots in the face, though. Decepticons, Autobots, what's the difference? They're all Cybertronians. Don't know why they're fighting each other. What, do they want power one than the other? Kind of like, who knows, like the dark side and light side of, like, the Force or something? Probably. They're like humans. From what I can tell, they're like humans. But a lot more stronger than us. And a lot more smarter from what I can tell, to a certain extent. I don't know where we are, but I'm pretty sure we're safe. For now, at least.
As you know, there's a roar in the forest.
As there would be Dinobots. Yes, I'm adding them. And that's not even the worst that I'm adding. One name. Predacons. That's all I'm saying. If you know what they are, then you know they hunt down. The reasons primes don't exist, you would say. Or Autobots in general. Yeah. Pretty terrifying.
As you know, Dinobots kind of charge, Deku. As you know, it rained. As you know, Deku and, Sunlight are kind of bathing, in a bath of Energon practically due to, that it's being too big to kind of, get out of it. Eventually, they do eventually swim up. As the blaster kind of absorbs all of the Energon, or, most of it, same with Soundly. I see. I gain basic functions. It's no longer heavy, from what I can tell. Half of my body, it's been 5 days. Half of my body's completely made out of this stuff. From what I can tell, I'm some type of cyborg. I don't know what's happening, but it stopped destroying my skin and more covering my skin at this point. As it goes faster. Like armor almost. But, after covering half of my body, it does start to do the same thing as well. I don't know if it's due to kind of keeping its host alive, or just by nature. Anyways. Oof. That wasn't supposed to come out yet. Oof.
Anyways, what would happen is that his voice box would also change. As over these 10 months, Soundly and Shockwave would finally become Cybertronians.
More of part Cybertronian, technically, since their heads are still intact. But even those are being replaced somewhat, as they have full body armors, like you see in the top left corner. They're practically still human, but, their heads are the only things that is kind of, not touched. So, yes.
I don't know what happened to us, but from what I can tell, the more we become these things, the more information I gain. I don't know if they'll be able to find us anytime soon, but I know I will do whatever it takes for us to survive. Now, from what I can tell, there's some type of cave, or a couple caves, one east, one south, and one west. At least from what I can tell. The Energon pool is still there. It has been raining recently. It seems the more we absorb this Energon source, we become more activated almost. As if it speeds up the process of turning into these Cybertronians, you would say. Even so, it's very, very awkward. Having once to be human, and then not. Of course, though, things about us will never change, but only time can tell. Only time can tell, now. Soundwave, do you have the information we need to get out of here.
Yes, we do. We have everything we need. We have the ship ready. All we need is some parts here and there. It's a little small, but I believe it can carry us both.
So that old Decepticon ship is still activated. Just need some parts, right?
What is this place? This is practically the Bermuda Triangle. The entire Bermuda Triangle is a giant meteor that, eventually life grew on, the Bermuda Triangle, creating, Cybertronian fish, animals, and all this other stuff. And also, in a certain range of, the Bermuda Triangle, no technology besides, Cybertronian technology works. Kind of like a EMP almost, towards any human type of technology. They don't know they're on an island yet, so, I mean, yeah.
From what I can tell, our resources are very scarce, but if we keep on working, it will eventually come into our favor.
Now, well, what do you mean? This can be many things. It's been a while since we had food, though. Our bodies adapted to no longer needing food, instead running on energon. But those fruits, though, are still useful. Those fruits, even now, can be very useful. As you know, it's been like, a decent amount of years. I'll say about 2 years. Since then, since they kind of got teleported there, so yeah. As the military-based weaponry, and the military and strategist is the Shockwave. As you know, Soundwave is kind of like the information person, which gets information. They're kind of like equals when it comes to things and stats, but when one's bad at, the other one's good at. So yeah. They're kind of like the same thing, but different at the same time. Since Shockwave does have the stronger form, but the stances Soundwave has are pretty unique. So yes, I'll say Shockwave is the stronger brother, to be precise, because I mean, Soundwave, yes, he's very useful, but when it comes to muscle, yeah, still pretty strong. Like stronger than the average Decepticon and Autobot. But I mean, yeah, I'll say he's stronger than Starscream when it comes to strength. But when it comes to strength, the Deku's superior.
Well, from what I can tell, I claimed and collected many.
I picked up many things. From what I can tell, these things are called energy or energon fruits. Very useful. I also have been working on my own synthetic energon, you can say. Was no longer synthetic. That program fell down the drain. I'm making a new type of energon, but it's not yet prepared. It's like, I call it pure energon. Energon that is compressed to a great degree.
and can be very valuable and can power anything for a decent amount of time. Of course, though, it's in its prototype stage, not fully configured. As you know, as the next day passes, they do get their face masks and whatnot. Deku, how he lost his eye is that he was fighting with a Dinobot. The Dinobot kind of scratched out his eye. Eventually, the Allspark kind of, replaced his eye with, a mechanical one. As eventually both eyes were unnecessary. As you know, over time, Deku's head did shape into, what you see on the screen right about now. So, yes. They kind of fused together into, one giant eyeball.
So yeah, they're in like the top food chain right now, at least from what they can tell. There are other things higher than them, like T-Rex, Dinobots, and other things like that. There's a lot of things. Flying Dinobot, like any type of dinosaur that ever lived, there's like flipping a Dinobot for it. So yeah. And Deku, he was experimenting on something. What is this? Creating life. Or, mechanical life, technically. Making Driller. As Driller, I know Driller's, 200, football stadiums long, but I mean, either that or 2 football stadiums long. I can't remember how long he is, but he's pretty flipping long. Yeah, I believe he was 2 football stadiums long. Anyways, the thing was that it's from what Deku did. He created, this type of energon fruit, trying to. He experimented on it, and eventually, as in the movies, Deku kind of messed with it a couple times. Eventually, a life form was created. Which is his experiment, which is kind of like a narrow link with him to kind of, not control it, but kind of guide it. So, it's kind of in the energon pool, kind of, just swimming in there, collecting energon and whatnot. It's very useful. It does, fight Dinobots to, take them down and kind of, absorb them, I guess. The more it, kind of, instead of, killing, I guess it would kill still, but, instead of, destroying, the entire, Autobot or, Cybertronian thing, it would kind of, like a, how would you say, fusion almost. It devours it, and, its food adds on to, its body, practically. Which is how it's going to get its length.
So, how long do you think it will take us? From what I can tell, at least a month until we can escape. Now, we need to find a way out. Who knows? We probably already got kicked out of school or something. Or got looked for. It doesn't matter, though. The knowledge I contain is beyond those of school standards. Now, also, if you're wondering, yes, Deku is technically a prime. When it comes to power-wise, or, technically, the Allspark created it, so he's like a prime, almost. Or, is a prime. Having the, Allspark of Leadership, I think it was called.
The spark of leadership or something similar like that. So yeah, he has that inside of him. So yeah, he is technically counted as a prime. And practically over time, they kind of gave up. Because, I mean, they, eventually, their brain was, their bodies were completely, removed and, turned into, Decepticons, practically. Not Decepticons, but you know what I mean. So, yeah. They made their own lab. Or more lines of, Shockwave made his own lab. Started experimenting on stuff. Eventually creating the insect bots, practically. And yeah, he practically owned that entire area, practically. Just, the instincts don't mess with him. Because, they know, they mess with him, they gotta mess with Driller. And by now, Driller's already pretty big. Able to take down anything. Even a mother insect bot, so yeah. And if you know where I got the insect bots from, they were from the game Transformers Fall of Cybertron from the video game. Dinobots were also in the video game. And a couple other things. The Spark of Leadership. I think, I'm pretty sure it was called the Spark of Leadership. So, yeah, instead of them technically being one, because, technically, there's different versions of the Spark of Leadership. There's the normal primes, and, there's the ancient primes. Optimus Prime eventually gets the ancient prime of leadership. Or, whatever it's called. Spark of Leadership. Deku right now has his own version of the Spark of Leadership. It's kind of in... How do you say, it's more made for him than a prime. So he's kind of... He's pretty powerful, that's all you gotta know. What I mean by that is that he controls 50% of the entire island. Yeah, pretty powerful. And that's just using, him using the Spark of Leadership. The more, he mutates, or, the Allspark kind of changes his body, the more, the Spark of Leadership is, advanced more into, a better Spark of Leadership. Eventually, Deku does have, a giant, like a giant energon hole inside of his, power system. Practically making it like a chi almost, if you know where that's from. Those balls of chi, I believe. I can't remember where it's from. But yeah, he practically has a giant sphere of energon inside of him that practically runs him. Not just that, but he has technically the Allspark that runs him, the sphere that runs him, and, the Spark of Leadership, which also runs him. So he has like 3 different things that run him. So yeah, he ain't dying anytime soon. he gonna be he be pretty flip. You gotta be pretty flippin' power to kill this man. He got like 3 things that are running him, bro. And one of them you can't even take away, since he technically is the Allspark, or a piece of the Allspark technically. At this point, the Allspark became their own thing with Soundwave and Shockwave eventually becoming their own thing, no longer wanting to eventually go to each other. They don't want to combine anymore. So yeah, kind of their own thing, making Soundwave and Shockwave very, very powerful in their own rights. Reasoning, Shockwave he likes to experiment on himself, and Soundwave's kind of like the informant. So yeah. Soundwave, have you found anything yet?
Yes, the portal is almost complete. The space bridge is almost complete. We only need a few more gallons of energon. After that, we may be able to make a space rift and hopefully go back home. Good. Now, I'll be back. I'm going to see what Driller's doing. Oh, so Soundwave, I need you to coordinate this location to your permanent network.
Got it, Shockwave. Downloading it to my systems now. Central map complete. New location achieved. Saved. Okay, it's done.
Great. Now, I'll be doing the same. I'll be collecting the rest of us. Especially trying to find out how to resurrect these dead Decepticons, from what I can tell, bodies.
As you know, he eventually does do so. As you know, in a different type of way, he kind of, like a necromancy almost, revives them, but they kind of follow under his, control. Since the Allspark itself is kind of creates life. So yeah. Out of anything, practically, so. Yeah, he practically revives them. Information's, throughout. So there's technically now, 7 of them on the island. 10 of them on the island now. That they can actually talk to instead of them being animals. So, I mean, yeah. Or animal bots, practically. And what I mean, the ship, it's pretty flippin' big. Same with the portal. The portal's huge. Same with, the ship. Now, from what I can tell, it's almost complete. We only need one more day to charge the space bridge to make a rift. Space rift.
Great. Now, get everyone together. I'll be getting how would you say, communications with others.
Got it. I'll be doing that right away. So yeah, what I mean by this is Shockwave right now is the kind of the general practically of everything. He he knows what to do with the energon, how to save it, how to use it a lot, efficiently. So he's the basic, captain of survival. So yeah. He has experiments on the island, by the way. He has monsters on the island. Well, I mean monsters. So yeah. Driller being one of them. Since this man is 2 football fields long. Pretty flippin' huge. So yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yes, it is complete. It's been 24 hours. It should be charged now. Where to?
Japan. We need to see if they're still there.
Okay, Shockwave. Setting coordinates. Insert coordinates here, as you know. Yeah. They do so, and they go through the rift. Space rift. On the space thing. Yeah. Space bridge complete. Transportation successful. 100% success.
Good. We may have to go there sooner or later for resources. Agreed, Soundwave. Now.
As you know, I'll say they teleported like right in front of the street. So yeah.
This is awkward. We weren't here before. It might have been a random location then in Japan.
As you know, people are like, people are kind of, having their carts to the sides because they know the Decepticons. The Decepticons, they think, the Decepticons are practically, the good guys, but kind of, pulling off Bumblebee from the movie, Bumblebee. Decepticons kind of use the humans and whatnot. So yeah. So everyone's kind of moving out the way.
Brilliant. We're back home now.
Let's see what we have. As soon as he tries to do something, they instantly have a radio signition. As a Decepticon ship finds them. What patrol are you in and whatnot. Practically thinking they're Decepticons, but finding out they're actually Cybertronians that don't yet have a Autobot or a Decepticon mark. As the Decepticons thinking that they are from Cybertron, survivors of Cybertron. As they kind of bring in Shockwave and Soundwave, as telling Megatron, Lord Megatron, we've found survivors of Cybertron on Earth. What do we do?
I want to meet them now.
Opening space bridge now. As you know, they enter the space bridge meeting Megatron. Deku ain't stupid. He know he ain't trying to get that smoke. He don't remember Megatron because his memories were kind of some of them were erased. Like half of their memories were erased. So yeah, all they know is that they were brothers. That's all they know. They were brothers. They have a past together, but that past isn't completely clear to them. So they only have the memories that they are brothers. That's all.
State your business here, Cybertronians. Are you Autobot or Decepticon? We are neither. Me and my brother were stuck on a remote island, on no way to survive. Eventually, we came across a Decepticon ship, used it to create a space bridge, and made it here.
As you know, they remember they do remember on the radio frequency that one of the Decepticon ships were kind of not shot down, but specific Dinobots kind of may or may not have destroyed the ship or kind of shot it down on the sky. So yeah.
What are you doing here?
And what is as they explain everything.
Welcome to Decepticon Army.
As they kind of practically invited them to the Decepticon Army. They they agreed. They joined. Starscream was like, "How are you gonna allow these lowlives, these unknown specimens, to walk free in your army, Lord Megatron? It'll be easy to destroy them." As Shockwave stops kneeling before Megatron.
Listen, I am Shockwave. From what I can tell, if me and you are in a battle, I would easily disintegrate you using my phosphoral cannon. Now, I don't care who you are, but if you don't respect us, who knows? We can probably even take you on, Starscream.
As you know, Megatron smiles because he doesn't like Starscream. That's something that's never gonna change. He never did like Starscream, and he sees Shockwave having some guts. Megatron sees him; he got some guts. Same with Soundwave because Soundwave and Shockwave are kind of you mess with one of them, you mess with both of them type of deal. So yeah. So they kind of they kind of stare down Starscream. Starscream, he's skinny and whatnot. He can't He is practically the same way like Megatron versus Shockwave. Starscream don't want that smoke from Shockwave, and you mess with Shockwave, you mess with Soundwave. So yeah, he about to get jumped double time. He about to get militaried very well, and then he's about to get whooped by Soundwave on the back. So yeah, yeah. Like Starscream don't want that smoke, bro. He don't want that smoke. As you know, the Autobots in the new base, they see that the Energon readings, or the relative similarities of the Energon readings from the two humans that disappeared those 2 years ago, reappeared in Japan. As you know, they kind of say they're in a Decepticon mandatory Optimus. I'm not sure if they're with the Decepticons, but from what I can tell, they might have been captured or otherwise. As you know, we go back to Shockwave and Soundwave. Now, this laboratory is pretty useful.
Yes, but it's not as big as ours or mine. It's not as useful either. How do you even use these materials to even create things? Or even gather information?
As he's staring down Starscream. As it was kind of Starscream's laboratory.
No wonder you're not able to complete missions on time. Look at this, it's a mess. Give me a couple days, I'll be able to clean everything up. There is a lot of useful scrap here, though.
Now, go. We must do our work.
If you don't know, at this point, Starscream trying to find a way to kill both of them. Not gonna lie, he don't like them. He's really not trying to fight them directly, but he kind of tries to find a way to kind of get them in trouble any chance he gets, which kind of fails. So yeah, eventually he does find out about Autobot later was shot down, or kind of hunted down and kind of killed. As Starscream had an idea. He used the Autobots to kind of either kill or capture the Shockwave and Soundwave, which it was an empty frequency, kind of in a plain field somewhere in the edge of Japan, either in the edge of Japan or somewhere near the mountain regions of Japan.
Well, that's all. These are a lot of useful resources. Not as much as I like, but yeah, you can get what you get.
As they start, setting up shop. Practically, creating, weapons and whatnot to kind of help out, as I said, they are military based, so I mean, yeah. So, he climbed up in the ranks pretty fast. But, he's still in 100th flipping stat, so yeah. He's trying to. But, by alone, his power is, stronger than normal, Decepticons. A lot more stronger. And from what, Megatron can tell, when it comes to fighting or, killing things, Shockwave and Soundwave aren't new at it. It's been like they've been doing this for a while, too. Unpronounced to Starscream, Megatron's already pending on whether to make them leaders. Or, either generals or, some type of leaders. As the commands, they're about in, I'll say the range of 100 or, 200 commands. Which are about in that. They're about in that range. They are, climbing up it very fast, but, that's a pretty decent amount of Decepticons, so yeah. From what I can tell, Lord Megatron told us to go here, saying that there was a Autobot sighting. Starscream, are you sure you got our coordinates correct?
Shockwave, what are you planning?
As you know, he's calling someone. As all the way on the island of the Bermuda Triangle, something big awakens. Something very, very big awakens. Swimming to, state or, Japan, which is going to take a pretty decent amount, like at least an episode or two.
From what I can tell, Megatron, there are no Autobot sightings nor Energon sightings anywhere. I do sense portions of Energon around this area, though.
As you know, it's kind of like under the ground, though. So, they dig up. It's kind of like Energon mine, another one that they found. So, they start digging up Energon. And yeah, eventually, something does happen. As the Autobots show up. I'll say RC, not Mittelheim, but Bulk shows up. Bulk, RC, no, I feel like no, they wouldn't expand their team that wide. Due to, their low numbers and, Autobots. So yeah, I'll say they brought like, I'll say they made Cliff Jumper. Yeah, I'll say they brought like Cliff Jumper first. I know, you know what? Yeah, why not? I'll go to the animated series. So yeah. Sorry, Cliff Jumper, I'm about to do you dirty, man, even though you're like one of my favorite dudes. So yeah, Cliff Jumper, man, he about to get done dirty, though. Bro, I feel bad for you since you're one of my favorites. This is gonna hurt my heart, bro. Cliff Jumper, he's kind of, jumping off cliffs, you know what? And you know what it is? Looking for, the Energon readings. They said, he got, connections, locations from Ratchet that there were, Energon readings. As I'll say, for reasons. I'll say, Shockwave has his, Decepticon team that he kind of revived. So, yeah. So, that'd be 8 people. Yeah, that'd be like 8 Decepticons. With, technically, adding 9 would be Soundwave, and, with himself would be 10. So, yeah. They're just picking up, digging. They've been digging for, a decent while to get, Energon. As Cliff Jumper appears. He's told to kind of not retreat, but, report back to them. But, what, Cliff Jumper thinks he's all that. He's one of my favorite characters, and if you know why I'm trying to avoid this, this is like, bruh, it's gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt the story. Shockwave is there. And we know very well Shockwave can easily take on Cliff Jumper. Why am I gonna kill him off, bro? So, you know, Cliff Jumper starts shooting. Come on, Decepticon scum! As you know, he's shooting. He takes down at least 3 of them. You know, eventually getting like 5 of them to the ground. Leaving out that there's like, let's see. There's 2. I'll say there's like 3 left. So he takes about like 5 of them out. Leaving Shockwave, Soundwave. So he got like 5. So it'd be like, no, let's say he got. No, I'll say he got 6. So that mean there's Shockwave, Soundwave, and then 2 others. You know, Shockwave's getting annoyed. It's like, can none of you do your job? Get out of my way. As you know, he aims, you know, the weapon. You know, he does have the strongest weapon out of the entire group. Aim. Fire. You know, cracking, you know, blowing up the rock that Cliff Jumper was hiding behind. Shooting him, you know, once in the chest, second in the leg, and third, you know, in the arm. You call this difficult? Ugh. You insolent fools. Hopefully I didn't do too much damage to him. You may be useful. I'm taking you back. I may do experiments on you to check if I... Would this be a good idea to activate Project Dark Energon? Maybe. Before using it on myself, I can maybe use it on this one. Just a little bit. Don't want to corrupt him completely. Yes, I'm adding Dark Energon to this. And Predacons, and like a heck of a lot of stuff. Unicron, all Spark. Spark of, you know, leadership. And all this other stuff. As you know, Shockwave, you know, kind of drags back into, you know, a space rift with a... I can't remember what it was called. It was called, what was it called? It was called a space bridge, yes, the space bridge. He drags him into the space bridge, you know, showing him to Lord Megatron. Lord Megatron, I found one of these.
Good, Shockwave. Good.
As you know, Megatron does tempt to kill, you know, Cliff Jumper, but, you know, Shockwave pleads to kind of, you know, leave him alive, please. If I can have him alive, I may do my research very useful. Maybe even take control of him.
Interesting. Very well then, Shockwave. Do as you please. All I need in return are results.
Got it, Lord Megatron.
As you know, he carries the unconscious body to, you know, his, you know, laboratory. As you know, he puts, you know, kind of straps him to the table. Experimented on, you know, Cliff Jumper. From what I can tell, I completed most of the wounds I inflicted on him. There are most of lines healed. And so I can maybe use Dark Energon. Where was that vial at? As you know, I'll say, you know, Shockwave was trying to replicate, you know, Driller. But, you know, Starscream, you know, he wants him dead, so, you know. Kind of breaks one of the tubes but without Shockwave knowing. As you know, Deku he looks for the location. As you know, he looks for it more because it's not in the location where he put it. As he gets stabbed by Starscream with the Dark Energon. Starscream kind of enters a space bridge rift and kind of goes away before he can notice. As you know. Also, the driller clone kind of bites down on Shockwave.
Ah, you pestilence of you. Get off.
As he rips it off and kind of throws it on the floor and shoots it.
That took me a week. He wanted results. Can't have results if my experiments keep on getting out. I may need an assistant. Contact. Computer. Contact Soundwave.
Computer analyzing. Shockwave confirmed. Shockwave initially called.
Yes, I'm here.
I need you to come back to base to watch some of my experiments, just in case they get out of containment.
Hey, what happened? One of them surprisingly got out of containment?
Yes, even though I compressed the glass to steel like. I don't know how the glass broke, but it sounds like someone's trying to mess with my research.
Don't worry, brother, I got you. I'll be down in... let me finish my mission first and I'll come down.
Got you. Shockwave signing off. 256 command. In command, signing off.
From what I can tell, computer, analyze the damage on the tank. On containment.
From what I can tell, it wasn't. The damage wasn't from inside. It was in fact outside, meaning someone tried. They tried to ambush me. Or jeopardize my plans. This is not well. That was a waste of energon as well. What's happening?
As you know, the Dark Energon starts to affect his mind. As you know, his Energon and his charging ratings are becoming purple. Dark, like ultraviolet color. So like a neon ultraviolet, so yeah. As his mind does get a little bit corrupted by the Dark Energon, because the Dark Energon is kind of like a zombie-fied thing. Pretty useful. So yeah.
Interesting. Seems like that thing, or someone who tried to ruin my plans, injected me with the Dark Energon. There are no side effects from what I can tell.
But from what I can tell, there are many things that are wrong.
For one, the urge to gain more energon, which is almost concerning on a level. Second, it increases my stats and somewhat of my strength, I see.
Hold up. Wait, what that mean?
Computer, how is Project Pred doing? Project Predacon is fine. No containment breaches.
Good. I thought I might have to have a laboratory shut down.
Predacons, I've found some parts of a Predacon. In some places. And maybe even a body of a Predacon back on Cybertron when I was sent there on a mission to collect some Autobots information. Ancestry of the Predacons, which killed most of the Autobots and killed a lot of the Primes. As you know, I'll say instead of all that, I'll say Cliff Jumper killed 5 of them, not all of them. Anyways, we go back to what was happening.
Where's Bruticus?
Bruticus is needed. Summon them off. Summon the 5 of them at once, computer. Calling Bruticus. As you know, 5 cameras appear on 5 different Decepticons.
Yes, Commander Shockwave, what do you need?
Come down here. From what I can tell, your mission's almost complete, so as soon as you finish your mission, come here now.
As no Soundwave is there now.
Perfect. I need you to thatch me.
As no, he comes closer to his ear.
Some pure energon. Make sure no one sees you leave.
That information is only clarified by us and no one else. Pure energon is only created. And I don't need that to go into the wrong hands. As no, he uses, pure energon to use on his experiments. He doesn't use normal energon, he uses pure energon. There's a couple minutes pass as he's waiting.
I got it. Here you go.
A vial. A big container vial of pure energon. I'll hook this up to this tube.
And if I connect this to this Autobot, and then have this with it, as he creates the pure energon, turns half of the pure energon into, dark energon. And, impulsing it into, Cliff Jumper. As Cliff Jumper, kind of, his body twitches, skirts all around the table. As, purple light goes into his eyes. As, he becomes somewhat of a zombie-like substance, or a zombie-like person.
Listen, command.
As it's not listening.
Interesting.
It it hesitates and then continues to go around. It doesn't attack. It doesn't try to attack. It's even though it's still pinned down. It doesn't try to attack Shockwave, but it does try to attack Soundwave.
Interesting. So this is what Dark Energon can do. Or what it can do when you impulse someone of Dark Energon more than 10%.
Because, Shockwave entered 25% instead of 50%, as the more dark energon you use in a person, the darker their energon becomes. The more feral they become, eventually turning into a zombie or Autobot zombie. From Transformers, Age of Prime, I believe. Transformers Prime animated series. Unicron for like the 1935 maybe, I think, series. Unicron was from the Unicron. I believe he was from the I was far off. I was 1986 when Unicron was introduced to the series. I believe he was like the original antagonist before Megatron. Yeah. What will happen now? As there's an alert, or more of like a alert that there was a energon leak, meaning that energon leaks are very dangerous due to I'll say reasons. Starscream has been going around Shockwave's experiments, releasing a couple of them. Even, releasing some piranha, like, entities. Shredders, almost. So, yes. As it's a shutdown, entire shutdown. As in the series, but end the episode here. And this part here.